me. If they could beat me, they would have went to the polls. But now when I bring the people out, you don't let them in.
Imagine the dramatic downfall of a political empire in real time. Tiffany Henyard, once known as the super mayor, has gone from a political powerhouse to the center of a whirlwind of controversy, scandals, and accusations. This is a story of power, betrayal, and an unstoppable force facing the inevitable collapse. Tiffany Henyard's reign as both mayor of Dolton and supervisor of Thornton Township has been a saga filled with high-stakes drama, and it looks like it might be nearing its bitter end. For years, Tiffany Henyard has been the face of local politics, wielding influence in two high-profile positions. As mayor of Dolton and supervisor of Thornton Township, she had a stronghold that many thought would be unshakable. Known for her boldness and unwavering confidence, Tiffany was never one to shy away from the spotlight. Her brash leadership style often rubbed people the wrong way, but it also earned her a loyal following. Her supporters admired her unapologetic approach and her fierce determination. But as we've seen time and time again in politics, nothing lasts forever. And now the world is watching as Tiffany's grip on power starts to slip. Her downfall began in the most unexpected way, through the political process she had once mastered. The Democratic caucus for Thornton Township was meant to be a formality, a way for Tiffany to maintain her position as supervisor. But it turned into a disaster. Tiffany's campaign, which had been running at full speed, came to a screeching halt when it was revealed that her slate of candidates was invalid. In the process of qualifying candidates for the caucus, Tiffany's team failed to meet a crucial requirement, a certified assessor. Without that, her slate of candidates was deemed invalid, and with it, Tiffany's bid for re-election. The way Tiffany handled the situation was nothing short of dramatic. In a room full of political opponents, Tiffany stormed out, visibly enraged. The crowd erupted into applause, celebrating her failure. They weren't just happy about her loss, they were mocking her. As she stormed out of the caucus, Tiffany yelled "illegal" at anyone who would listen, refusing to accept the outcome. To add insult to injury, a chant started up, hey, kiss him goodbye." It was the kind of dramatic exit you might expect from a reality TV star, but not from someone with Tiffany's experience in politics. So why did this happen? It all boiled down to the rules of the caucus, rules that had not been used in Thornton Township for nearly 30 years. According to the process, candidates needed a full slate of 8 people to cover various positions, including supervisor, highway director, clerk, assessor, and 4 trustees. Tiffany's team had only 7 candidates, and without a certified assessor, her slate was deemed invalid. This left Tiffany with no choice but to leave the caucus empty-handed. Enter Napoleon Harris, the Democratic committeeman for Thornton Township. Not only did he have his own slate of candidates ready to go, but he also controlled the rules of the caucus. In short, Napoleon Harris played the system to his advantage and secured his own spot as the Democratic nominee for supervisor. It was a power move that left Tiffany reeling. Tiffany, however, wasn't going down without a fight. She immediately accused Harris of running an unfair process. She claimed that her supporters, who had been bussed in using township resources, were locked out of the caucus, unable to participate in the process. Tiffany was quick to label it as voter suppression, accusing her opponents of trying to rig the process to ensure her defeat. But there was one problem. The buses that Tiffany arranged for her supporters reportedly arrived late, leaving many of her backers stuck outside while the caucus continued without them. Tiffany's response to the situation was classic Tiffany: accusations, deflection, and a refusal to accept any blame. She declared that the whole process was illegal and promised to sue everyone involved. The irony of the situation wasn't lost on anyone. Tiffany, who had always been a vocal advocate for her supporters, now found herself blaming everyone else for her failure. But at the end of the day, the caucus was over, and her dreams of re-election were dashed. The clock was ticking, and Tiffany was running out of options. At this point, the media frenzy surrounding Tiffany's downfall intensified. For years, she had been able to maintain her position despite numerous scandals, but now the public was starting to pay closer attention to the financial side of her administration. Tiffany's spending habits had long been a point of contention, but the details that began to surface were shocking. One of the most jaw-dropping revelations was her extravagant Amazon shopping spree, where she reportedly spent over $443,000 in a single day. That's right, $443,000. The purchases were mostly business-related, but the sheer amount of money spent raised eyebrows across the board. Critics questioned what exactly she had purchased and whether any of it was justified. Tiffany's critics didn't stop there. Reports revealed that she had misused taxpayer funds for personal luxuries, including expensive meals and lavish trips. The public began to wonder, how could someone who claimed to be fighting for the people be spending so recklessly? To make matters worse, Tiffany's cancer charity, which she had touted as one of her proudest achievements, was shut down for failing to disclose how it had spent its funds. The scandal further damaged her already tarnished reputation, and the FBI reportedly started investigating her administration for financial misconduct and possible abuse of power. But perhaps the most telling sign of Tiffany's declining influence was the reaction from her political allies. While she once enjoyed a strong network of supporters, many of them began to distance themselves from her as her scandals mounted. Her combative approach, which had once endeared her to some, was now alienating her from those who had supported her. Tiffany's leadership style had always been polarizing, but now it seemed as though the very people who had helped her rise to power were starting to turn their backs on her. Despite all of this, Tiffany wasn't ready to admit defeat. She immediately began planning her next move, and that move was a legal challenge. Tiffany announced that she would contest the results of the caucus, claiming that the process had been rigged from the start. She even hinted at a write-in campaign, hoping that her name recognition would be enough to secure her re-election. But Tiffany's chances of success in a write-in campaign were slim at best. History shows that write-in candidates rarely succeed, and Tiffany was now facing off against a well-organized campaign led by Napoleon Harris, who had the full backing of the Democratic Party. Even if Tiffany could manage to mount a successful write-in campaign, her political future still seemed uncertain. Her time as mayor of Dolton had been marred by public feuds, financial scandals, and accusations of political retaliation. At a recent village board meeting, many residents turned their backs on Tiffany as she spoke, a clear sign that the public had lost faith in her leadership. Her hand-picked police chief was removed from his position after a judge ruled that he was unqualified for the job, leaving the Dolton Police Department in disarray. As if the political scandals weren't enough, Tiffany's personal life was also under scrutiny. Reports revealed that she was facing eviction from her rented home after failing to pay rent for several months. Her landlord claimed that she and her boyfriend hadn't made payments since August and even changed the locks to keep the landlord out. This added another layer of drama to an already chaotic situation, painting a picture of a leader who was increasingly disconnected from reality. But the story doesn't end there. Tiffany's financial troubles weren't limited to her personal spending habits. The village of Dolton, under her leadership, had seen its finances spiral out of control. A preliminary report from former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot revealed that Dolton's general fund balance had gone from a surplus of over $5 million in 2022 to a deficit of nearly $4 million by 2024. Lightfoot's report also uncovered evidence that Tiffany had used a village credit card for personal expenses, including purchases at stores like Target, Walgreens, and Wayfair. With so much financial mismanagement coming to light, it's no wonder that residents had begun to demand Tiffany's removal from office. Tiffany's future in politics seems uncertain at best. Her political career is hanging by a thread, and with investigations into her administration still ongoing, it's hard to see how she can recover from this. Will she be able to mount a successful write-in campaign and stage a comeback? Or has her time in politics come to an end? With the growing scrutiny on her leadership, finances, and personal life, it seems like Tiffany Henyard's political empire is crumbling faster than anyone could have imagined. So what's next for Tiffany Henyard? Is this the end of her political career, or will she somehow find a way to bounce back from the wreckage? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, this saga is far from over. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this unfolding drama.